Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 209 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Jamie and I return to preview the final race of the 2024 season. We're back today to discuss the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 23 races down, Jamie. We've got just one more to go this year. How are we feeling heading to Yas Marina?
Well, it's been a really good season, hasn't it? And it does definitely have the feeling of the end of the school year, doesn't it? From back in the day. And yeah, I think it feels like half the paddock's quite excited to leave. Not only the drivers who are actually moving teams either. Like, could you name one driver who would do another race? Maybe like Gasly. He seems to be enjoying himself at the minute. But like, I feel like everyone wants to go home, and fair play.
Yeah, I think we have. I mean, we've discussed this before, haven't we? But it kind of feels like, the limits of how many Formula 1 Grand Prix anybody wants seems to have pretty much reached their threshold, haven't they?
Yeah.
25, I think, would be our hard limit for Formula 1.
To be fair, F1 and Formula 1 management seem to have realised that no one wants more than 24, because there were years on years where they were just adding one each year and seeing where the breaking point is. I feel like they might have found it with 24 races and 6 sprints, but I always quite like Abu Dhabi. Or not just Abu Dhabi, the last race of the season is always quite a nice vibe. So,
I'd rather the last race of the year wasn't Abu Dhabi, but there we are.
I don't hate it. You know, since the track changes, it's actually all right, isn't it? I quite like it.
It's a better venue than it was, I'll give them credit there. But
good memories in 2021, obviously. So.
Of course. Especially
took us a minute to get there.
2014, even better memories.
Oh, I don't remember what happened that race. Double points, so irrelevant, doesn't count.
It didn't change anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That counts as 2 DNFs for Rosberg. So
does it?
Have that.
He finished P14. So did he technically finish 28th that Grand Prix? Is that how it works?
You know, Nico Hülkenberg got 16 points that race, which is more than Michael Schumacher ever scored in his career in one race.
Well, that's got to be more than... No, that is more than Schumacher would have ever scored, but it's also more than Hülkenberg would have ever scored in a single race.
Well, he scored it, so it's his most in a race, yeah.
It's his most ever, and Schumacher managed to score 15 in a race, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
So Hulk's the GOAT. There you go.
Well, he's the best German Formula 1 driver ever. I will happily agree with that. We've got a few bits and pieces to go through now. Jamie and I will give you kind of a reveal behind the curtain. Just our calendars do not line up the rest of this week. So we recorded, obviously, Tuesday's show at the time of recording yesterday. So we've come back, and today is Tuesday. In fact, we started recording pretty much as last week's show went out. So if we said something in that we've forgotten about and now we've been cancelled, then welcome back, everybody. Send us some hate down in the comments.
It's very likely. I'm surprised we've been going this long without being cancelled, to be honest.
But obviously, we've spoken about a few things, didn't we, Jamie? And you want to apparently dive in and rant and rage about Red Bull as well, because
not
obviously...
rage as such.
We briefly touched upon it, but Ocon is gone, and I mean, we're going to have to do this, aren't we? Because we don't know with Perez. Perez, finally, Jamie, has been sacked. Or Perez hasn't been sacked and is definitely in the car next year. One or the other is happening.
One of those things is going to be true. I'm like 80% sure that he's gone for 25, I would say. That's quite high. The sources that are reporting it are more credible than they've ever been up to this point. So
yes.
The only thing I could think of is like Red Bull's senior management were like, right, now we've got to pull the trigger, and then they maybe change their mind by Abu Dhabi. But I think somebody has made the decision within Red Bull to get rid of him by 25. The only thing that makes this source untrue is if those people change their minds.
I think, again, it's kind of been something that's been discussed recently, hasn't it? And I reckon there is a lot of mutiny inside Red Bull right now, because obviously all of the team, obviously Max's bonus is tied to what he does, but every single staff member in that team's bonus is related to the constructors. And the amount of people you think that are in that team right now going, I don't want to come back to work next year when I've lost out all this money because Perez hasn't delivered, and the team are just insistent on keep rehiring him. I either want my bonus to be attached to the Drivers' World Championship, or I'm gone.
Did you know that in the last 4 races, if there was a championship of the last 4 races, the only drivers doing worse than Sergio Perez are the 2 Williams drivers and Valtteri Bottas?
That I believe that. Yeah, I mean he's barely finished since then, hasn't he?
He's got 1 point,
Wow.
and he has actually finished the rest of the races. 2 points if you count an 8th in a sprint. To be fair,
He didn't finish Qatar.
he didn't finish Qatar, but he came 17th in Mexico,
Wow.
11th in Sao Paulo, 10th in Vegas, and then retired in Qatar.
Wow, that is a great record. But I must admit, if you're in that situation where you work for Red Bull and they're doing all this, praise for Max and everything about how how well we've done, to hang on to that title, and you'll think, well, hang on a minute, I don't get any bonus because we haven't run the constructors, because you've kept Checo in the car all year. I would be pretty livid.
Yeah, and they've lost out on an awful lot of money because there's no prize money for the Drivers' Championship. It's all in the constructors. And you're talking tens of millions difference between first place and third place. And realistically, if they had someone who could even do a similar thing to Max, then they wouldn't have lost the Constructors' Championship. Because Max is now really far clear. After Norris's disaster class in Qatar, Max is almost 100 points clear. He's 80 ahead of Norris. So if he had a second driver within 80 points behind Piastri...
Yeah. Which is basically everybody in the top teams that isn't Perez, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you
Piastri's
think, well, that's
291.
Mercedes, isn't it? Yeah.
Hamilton's on 80 points behind Piastri, and Hamilton's had a pretty shocking season by his standards.
Exactly. You could have basically put any other kind of decent driver, which Red Bull, of course, could easily afford to go into that second car.
And entice.
And had
they
both
can pick
titles.
anyone. They've got pick of the field.
I would argue there's a
much.
few they couldn't pick, but yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where you're kind of there going, some people have gone, oh, well, maybe it's so they get more wind tunnel testing time. But you kind of go, yeah, but that doesn't work. That will create so much unrest within your team.
What competitive organisation would throw away winning the crown that they're fighting for?
Exactly.
For a bit more wind tunnel time? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That's just not logical at all.
Well, but they're going to need him without Christian Horner next year, but still.
Without Adrian Newey, you mean?
Without Adrian Newey even. Yeah, they're still stuck with Christian Horner.
Yeah, and the problem is Red Bull is they've got this driver academy, which obviously Helmut Marko has had 2 hits with. Maybe a few more than that.
In 20 years. Yeah.
But 2 major hits in 20-odd years in Vettel and Verstappen. The only ones to go on to World Championships.
I mean, you say they've had a few other good ones. They've only ever had one other winner, haven't they? In Daniel Ricciardo.
Loads of other winners.
No, I mean with Red Bull, though. Because it's pointless if someone wins with someone else.
Yeah. It's
Ricciardo, and you could argue Gasly. Obviously winning for Toro Rosso back then, or whatever they were called at that point.
Yeah, and obviously Sainz has won for different teams.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. If anything, that's a bad thing for you. Someone's now winning. Is some of your opposition is now winning.
It's someone they bought into the sport and then let go, wasn't it? Interesting. But now they've got 3 drivers in their other 3 seats, and they don't really want any of them to be driving next to Verstappen, by the looks of it, which is just bizarre.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah. If you had to pick right now who's going in alongside Verstappen next year, it looks like all the support is going, it'll be another driver within the Red Bull family. So you're looking at Lawson or Tsunoda. Who do you go with? Well,
I personally wouldn't choose any of them. I don't think... If it was any of them, I would choose Tsunoda, I think.
Who would you choose then, in your hypothetical?
In a hypothetical world where I run Red Bull Racing, which would be great.
It wouldn't, but okay.
You go back to the start of the year and you try and get Carlos Sainz when he gets sacked from Ferrari. And that seems to be logical. The other one is Valtteri Bottas.
That's the other decent one.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near Colapinto. Lawson isn't ready. Tsunoda is decent, but is he going to do much better than Perez? Probably not. Obviously, you missed the vote on Hulkenberg, which, again, wouldn't do loads better than Perez, but you get someone Max at least. Norris is locked in, Piastri's locked in, Leclerc, Hamilton, they're locked in. Not that Verstappen would let any of those near his teammates.
Exactly. People seem to go on about this as well, of going like, oh, well, Verstappen, he's always thrashed his teammates. You go, yeah, that's also because he's allowed to pick his teammates. Of course, he's not going to use anyone that's actually going to be competition. He's basically, he's doing what Alex Albon's done at Williams and just stat-padded.
Oh, yeah. Verstappen stat-padded his way to 4 championships, hasn't he?
He has, exactly. That's the only thing he's done.
Yeah, the other ones who would be slightly credible are drivers that they've let go. So Pierre Gasly, I think, would be good in that second seat now. He just wasn't ready when he was
he
young.
wouldn't. He doesn't get on well with the Red Bull. That was the problem, wasn't it? It's like they kept talking about it.
I also don't
well
think.
With him.
I don't think he'd go back there now.
Sure. No, I don't think he'd want to. The same with Albon. I think you would look at that and go, not a chance, mate.
Not a chance. Yeah. It's just difficult because it feels like, honestly, it feels like last year and like for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been saying we need more seats, we need more options to get drivers in. All of the good drivers have now got seats in 2025. So all the drivers that are ready to come into the sport kind of have. And you look at, now we've got these seats, there's one at Red Bull, we were talking about it a few weeks ago with Cadillac. There's 2 there. Like, there's nobody who actually, we feel, deserves them.
Are you now going to sit back and claim that we have too many seats in Formula 1?
We don't have too many seats, but where's all the good drivers gone?
they're getting Formula 1 drives.
Yeah.
That's the important bit.
I guess. And we've binned off the likes of Ericsson and Mazepin, Sargent. I won't put Joe in there because he just finished 8th.
Schumacher.
So.
Oh, yeah, the show definitely goes in that group as well. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things, isn't it? Like, the only other one I can think of is maybe Esteban Ocon could have tried to have, but of course there's not a chance Verstappen would have him as a teammate either. But you kind of think, would Sainz go there? Would Sainz want that?
Well, the issue is their fathers, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Jos and Carlos Sr. don't get on either. It's just so kind of complicated. And it is kind of one of those things, isn't it, of, you know, what's better for Max in a weird way here isn't better for the team in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Or you could do what I said a few weeks ago, sorry, put Kevin Magnussen in. Why not?
Yeah, could happen.
He can't be much worse than Perez.
I don't think they'd get on particularly well either.
Well, Magnussen, it's weird. He's like a really good team player, but only like in a really unsportsmanlike way. Maybe he'd get on perfectly with Max, to be honest.
He probably would, yeah, now you've said it like that.
They're both very honest. They both don't really take anything bad on track. I think they actually would work quite well.
You're basically just trying to say they're both dicks behind the wheel, aren't you?
Well, they're hard to pass, aren't they?
I mean, Gasly found a way around Max in the sprint, so clearly not that difficult to get past.
Yeah. Well.
Jamie, it seems like more and more information is coming out as well, isn't it, about Doohan down at Alpine? And we called this in the show earlier this week, but apparently if he doesn't deliver in Abu Dhabi, it's going to be Colapinto's seat, which is quite funny. Yeah,
he's got one race to prove himself against a driver who's actually performing very well at the minute in Pierre Gasly. Who's actually outscored Lando Norris across the last 3 events, which is hilarious.
Has he?
And had an extra DNF.
Yeah. That's wild.
Gasly's had more points and an extra DNF when he started 3rd. So, there you go.
That is insane. I mean, admittedly, that 3rd stat is a little bit convoluted there, the way you try to word that. But I rate it.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard for Doohan. Obviously, when Alpine were like trying to sell their seat, absolutely nobody wanted it. They probably contacted Magnussen, Bottas, anyone else who was available, and nobody wanted to go near it. So, and now the seats they've actually made some steps.
That was the problem. Yeah, it didn't
Maybe
seem like anybody did want it though, because obviously it was kind of they're going Alpine as a team seem to be such damaged goods. I mean, even this, isn't it? The idea that they've kind of had this transformation right at the end of the year and everything like that. They're still not. I wouldn't argue that they're looking genuinely any better than, say, a Haas or a V-Carb still.
No, but they're at least on par. You can track progress from the start of the year, for sure.
But my point is, you know, those results aren't indicative of the actual pace of the car now.
No, not at all. They're not double podium contenders, are they?
Exactly. And they're still not... Well, they're still, a factory team. They're still a works team that no one is interested in. It's so kind
longer.
of... It's so... Well, yeah, exactly. It's so French is what it is, Jamie, isn't it?
Yeah, the French Ferrari with less success and less Italians. So.
Well, speaking of Ferrari success, Jamie, for the first time since 2008, could we see Ferrari win a title this weekend? 18
I really hope so.
Isn't it, I believe?
It's 22 points.
21, sorry.
21, but they need to... Yeah. They've only outscored McLaren once this season by more than that in a race weekend.
Yeah, that was back at Austin. But
Yes.
they will, if they do win the Grand Prix, Jamie, they will take it on countback of most wins. Which
Yes.
the idea that Ferrari might end up with more wins than McLaren this year is quite funny. I mean, how many
just
wins has
shows the
McLaren
fumble.
got? Is it 5? Is it 6?
Five.
Five.
They've had 3 for Lando, 2 for Oscar.
And Mercedes have even had 4.
Yes. Yeah,
Wild,
they have.
isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah, McLaren have
insane.
fumbled so many race wins this season. It's hilarious. I really hope Ferrari do it. And I'm not a Ferrari fan. I'm not a McLaren fan. I just think it would be really funny.
I mean, it is quite cool, isn't it, that we got Ferrari versus McLaren at the top again. I mean, this was our childhoods.
Yeah, exactly. There's less spying going on, or at least as far as we know,
Well,
than there was back in
I
our
was saying,
childhood.
we don't know that.
Exactly. It would take a 1-2 for Ferrari, realistically. And even then, McLaren would need to finish 4th and 5th at best for Ferrari to take it.
Could
And on
happen.
current pace, it could happen. It's not out the realms of possibility, but you're probably looking at a DNF for one of the McLarens.
Well, that was Austin, wasn't it, basically? They got the 1-2, Max came P3, and obviously, irrespective, then
Yeah.
McLaren lose it, which, like you said, is
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
the points they need. But, that wasn't that long ago, and I would argue that Abu Dhabi, I mean, it's a faster circuit, isn't it? It's probably a bit more similar. I'm trying to think, what tracks is Abu Dhabi similar to nowadays? You could argue Qatar, but at least
yeah.
Abu Dhabi's got some big braking zones.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd argue it's similar to. Quite similar to Shanghai. Probably a bit higher speed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one,
Melbourne?
isn't it, Abu Dhabi?
Kind of.
No,
No,
Melbourne's all straights, though, isn't it, now?
It's all straights
Maybe
now,
the
yeah,
old
but they've got a
layout,
few
but even
medium speed
then-
corners still.
Yeah, it's a very, very
Yeah,
odd
don't
one,
know.
isn't it?
I do like the Abu Dhabi layout, and it's obviously the 4th time we've run it.
Yes, yeah. Obviously since 2021, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's definitely much better than the old layout. I'm not going to sit here and try to claim against that. So if you had to call right now then, Jamie, Ferrari,
Mm-hmm.
McLaren, who will be Constructors' World Champions in 2024?
It'll be McLaren, which is sad.
will. Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that because it gives Ferrari more wind tunnel testing time for next year. So, I kind of... in
Wind
my
tunnel
own
testing
invested
time just
interest-
translates as trophies in your mind, really, doesn't it?
Exactly. Well, Red Bull have had none of it this year, and they're going to struggle next year, I hope. Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, 4 points in it, Jamie. I mean, we'll just rattle
Is it only
through some of
4?
these.
I thought it was
Sorry,
8.
8 points even. Ignore me.
Yes,
I can't
it
do
is 8.
maths anymore. 8 points. Who's winning that?
This would be really, really funny if Leclerc finishes second in a 2-horse race between 2 other horses. So, yeah, we shall see.
Yeah,
I think,
only Lando Norris can finish third in a two-way battle for the world title.
yeah. And you're thinking, if Norris gets outscored by Leclerc by 8 points, there's a high chance Verstappen could make it like a 100-point gap by the end of in the big title fight season. But yeah, I think Norris would probably do it. He's had a few, like the last few races have been pretty unlucky for him.
You're aware by saying that the 100-point gap would be near impossible, aren't you, if Leclerc outscores Lando by 8?
Well, Max wins.
Yeah,
No,
it would
Norris
require
DNF.
Charles to come 6th.
Yeah, it's true. But I think Norris will do it. I don't know what it is. It always feels like when there's nothing left to fight for in a championship, the drivers always end up in their championship order. Like,
Yeah, it is
I
a
don't-
weird one,
like
isn't it? We kind of
2019
hype up these.
and 18 and stuff like that, where like Vettel was really out of form, but then just randomly he turns up on the podium in the last race because that kind of it's always kind of sums up the season quite well, I find.
Yes, yeah, it is one of those weird ones, isn't it? I mean, all it takes though for Leclerc, of course, is the thing is, isn't it? Is with Leclerc is all it takes is winning with fastest lap, and no matter what Lando does, obviously it's over.
True.
But you could sacrifice Oscar in that scenario because if Lando's still in P2 and you take the fastest lap away from Charles, then obviously you've still done enough to get the constructors anyway, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you wouldn't have. If Ferrari came first and third with Lando second, and Oscar took
That's
fastest lap
22
but didn't
points.
score, that would be. The
I don't think they're
22
that
they
bothered
need.
about who finishes second, to be honest.
No, I don't think I don't think either of them really care that much. Further down the order, I mean, Oscar's looking pretty safe in P4 ahead of Carlos, isn't he?
Yeah.
George is looking pretty safe ahead of Lewis. Perez, obviously, for about the last 3 Grand Prix, can't finish higher or lower than 8th, which I think is a miracle that he's staying there. Gasly, 1 point behind Hulkenberg, Jamie. I'm sure
I know.
you've got invested interest in this one.
I have. I really hope Hulkenberg gets it over the line because a top 10 in that has to be quite good going.
Wouldn't I mean, that has. It's been a decent car most of the year, and he's.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, he will only get it thanks to Magnussen. Those points back in Jeddah make all the difference.
It was 1 point in Jeddah.
And he's how many points ahead of Gasly, is he?
Well, 1.
And who's had the better race result this year?
Gasly with a third place.
There you go.
A better race result than Hulk's entire career. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
But the other 36 points Hulk got himself. So apart from the couple he got from Magnussen in Miami Sprint as well.
Exactly. There's quite a few throughout the year that Hulkenberg has been gifted. But we love that for Kevin Magnussen.
I think
we're going to say
Hulk will get over the line.
Yeah, it might be that. I actually, you know what? I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say Gasly's going to get 9th and take Hulk by a single point.
Get 9th? He's going to get 32 points on Alonso, is he?
No, he's going to get 9th in the
Grand Prix. 9th in the race. Okay. There we go.
Ocon versus Stroll, that was going to be another good one heading into the final race. Stroll's going to hang on to that, of course.
If Stroll gets minus 1 point, it's still
which could be possible with Lance Stroll. I can see it happening. Albon has got to try, but he's already ahead of Ricciardo, so that'll be held on. Colapinto might just be out Behrman if he scores 2 points. And Zhou Guanyu and Liam Lawson. And more importantly, Jamie, can Jack Doohan knock Logan Sargent into 24th place overall?
He has to finish 10th, doesn't he? He has to get a point because if he gets 11th.
Sargent will claim it by getting a point earlier in the year. How does Bottas it? Oh no, because Bottas has had 2 11ths now, hasn't he?
No,
or he's had a better second result.
He's had a better second result. Yes. Yeah. Yes, but these are really, really important. Obviously, the championships.
Exactly.
Who's going to finish 23rd? We will love to see it back when we get to Abu Dhabi.
We do.
Yeah, the other one actually that is a bit more important is 6th place in the constructors because that's a lot of money. And Alpine do not deserve it in a million years, but they've got themselves in a chance by virtue of Brazil.
And you've made the argument Qatar as well.
Yeah, the 5th place in Qatar was very good going.
I think they're going to do it.
5 points in it. I really hope Haas get it back, just for sporting integrity more than it, and because obviously I'm a Hulkenberg fan.
You're a Gasly fan, or you always were?
I like Gasly. I like both of them, but Hulk's my favourite.
Fair enough. I think honestly Alpine are going to hang on to it rather sadly.
5 points. They've been on good form recently. The Haas's.
If but Alpine keeps scoring. A stinker. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the problem is as well is you're basing this too much, and I think the top 4 teams are going to be your top 8. I would have thought in this Grand Prix. I can't. Abu Dhabi doesn't tend. Exactly. Abu Dhabi doesn't... But I can just see Perez limping home for an 8th place, to be honest. I mean, the other one, Jamie, that could happen is that Red Bull could jump Ferrari again and end up P2, which would be quite funny. But that would require a double podium for Red Bull, which hasn't happened
and a double DNF for Ferrari.
Well, it doesn't have to be a double DNF, they just can't score, which has happened a couple of times this year.
Really?
Canada?
Oh, Canada. Wow, yeah.
Silverstone?
That's the only time. No, that's the only time.
Did they score points at Silverstone?
They got a 5th in the fastest lap with Sainz, yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. There we go. Yes. That kind of gets through all the battles, doesn't it? I guess, yeah. Sauber could overtake everyone if they get a 1-2, which won't happen.
What, and there's 20 times points up for grabs?
They could actually get up to 8th if they get a 1-2 finish, but I don't think they will.
Sauber suddenly scored their first point of the year, and Jamie is immediately gassing up a 1-2 finish in Abu Dhabi. Imagine Joe in his final race takes the victory. That'd be
I think someone might find him a seat if he won the race. I'm just going to put that out there. I think Red Bull might sign him.
Oh man, don't. I think if Bottas won, then Red Bull would sign him, like Perez in 2020.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I don't think Joe's keeping us. I think no matter what he does now, even if he wins it, I don't think he's keeping a seat for next year.
If Joe wins Abu Dhabi, he's going to that V Cup and Lawson into Red Bull. There you go.
Oh, behave. I mean, apparently they want to put Isaac Hadjar into that. I mean, let's talk F2 actually, Jamie. We haven't spoken about F2 in forever. Did you watch the races last weekend?
No.
I did. They were a bit chaotic.
Naturally.
Kimi Antonelli got absolutely destroyed both times.
Bortoletto did well, didn't he? And Paul Aaron won the feature for 17 different winners.
Finally, Paul Aaron got a race win after 26 races this year. It is technically a 3-way fight heading to Abu Dhabi, Jamie, between Bortoletto. So Bortoletto's on 188.5 points. I can't wait for that stupid half point at Monza to make the difference. Isaac Hadjar, half a point back. Paul Aaron, 25 points back. So he needs a bit of a miracle here. 25 and a half points back. So, I mean, it's sensibly between Bortoleto and Hadjar, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've both been good this season. I think Hadjar got screwed over, didn't he, in a bunch of feature races? I think Monaco springs to mind.
No. Hadjar's been very, very lucky in feature races this year.
Well, he should have won Monaco.
Feature race wins he's had this year. He's had so many that have gone his way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Maybe that's just an indication that he's a good driver. I don't know.
No, he's been quite lucky.
Fair enough. But I think Bortoleto will probably get over the line similarly.
Yeah.
And regardless, Bortoleto's in F1 next year, so he won't really care.
He is.
Although I'm sure he's going to try very hard.
Oh, no, he'll want to do the double of F3, F2, won't he? I mean, this is why I think, again, I'm with you, Bortoleto's going to claim this, but that's just because Isaac Hadjar is a complete bottle job as well. He will make one little mistake early on in the weekend, and that'll be over, and he'll finish P3 behind Aaron. Which is also quite funny that obviously Paul Aaron now has been announced as an Alpine reserve, despite the fact Victor Martins is still in Alpine colours this year. Yes.
Yeah, and who knows, Aaron might be driving the Alpine if Doohan does get the sack after one race.
Stinks up the place. Well, apparently he wants to be Colapinto. I mean, we could genuinely see about 6 people in that Alpine next year.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, Briatore's back and he's just bringing chaos with him.
Anyone he can find is getting a seat, apparently, according to Briatore. What else have we got? Oh, do you want to do your quiz before I forget?
Sure.
Please say I'm still... There we go, I've got the answers.
I hope it's not as stupid as last week's. For me,
it is. You got to name the 1996 Formula 3000 roster, if possible, please. No, it's a fun one today. Hopefully, I reckon you'll be able to go pretty well here as well. You got no time limit. It's a good old faithful one. You've got to name the winner of the last race of each Formula 1 season.
Oh, this could be fun.
I thought you'd enjoy this one.
I will like this one. I really hope I don't get it wrong straight away.
Yep, obviously as soon as you get one wrong, it's over.
Well, 2023...
Please say David Coulthard.
was Max Verstappen, because he won every race.
Not quite, but...
Almost. 2022 would have been Abu Dhabi. I have, no recollection of this race at all.
It's because not a lot happened.
Because not a lot happened, exactly. It probably was Max, wasn't it? But should I say that? Yeah, it was Verstappen, wasn't it?
It was Verstappen. 2 points.
2021. Love that race. I'd go. I only watch that once a month at least. Was who? Just remind me who won that race? 2021.
No, this is your quiz, not mine.
Was it Michael Massey?
Incorrect. I'm
Max
afraid.
Verstappen.
Also incorrect, I'm afraid. We're getting this one changed.
2020 was Verstappen actually in Abu Dhabi. It was a flip reversal of the Ham-Bot Ver that year, wasn't it? It was Ver-Bot Ham at the last race.
It was. So
2019.
You're up to 4 points.
The last race was Abu Dhabi, believe it or not. Again, very little recollection of this. I think it was Lewis Hamilton.
Correct.
2018.
5 points.
2018 was Hamilton.
Correct.
Because Bottas dropped a stinker and finished 5th in the championship. 2017, I'm just going Abu Dhabi. I need to remember which races weren't the last race as well. 17 was Abu Dhabi and it was Bottas.
Correct.
That was back in the day. Hamilton used to give up once the title was decided. I'll say back in the day, that hasn't happened the last 3 years as well. 2016, the final race was Abu Dhabi, and it was Lewis Hamilton who backed up the field to try and stop Rosberg winning the championship, and failed. 2015.
Don't need your life story, just need the winners.
And just reminding you of the time Hamilton loses his championships is great. 2015, the final race was Abu Dhabi, and it was Nico Rosberg.
Correct.
2014, Lewis Hamilton won the race with double points.
Correct. And Williams
got
66
scored
points.
The most ever points in one race for a constructor. Battle with Bottas and Massa, wasn't it? When we're up to 2013, the final race was Brazil. And it was Vettel.
It was, correct.
In Webber's last race, he didn't give him the win. What a snake. 2012, the last race was Brazil, and it was Jenson Button.
Remind me, I thought Hulkenberg led this race.
Well, he should have won the race if Timo Glock got out of the way.
No, hang on a minute. Hulkenberg binned it himself.
2011, the final race was Brazil, and Mark Webber won.
Correct.
Mark Webber.
A bit of a left field one. That people often forget that one.
It was 2010. Obviously, title decider. Vettel won at Abu Dhabi. 2009, Vettel won at Abu Dhabi after the title was decided. 2008, Massa won at Brazil, and Glock. Yep, is it him? Yes, it was.
I'd completely forgot that Alonso finished P2 in the Renault that day.
Yeah, Alonso was the top scorer in the last 6 races in 2008. Did you know that?
He never won the Brazilian Grand Prix, though, has he?
No, he hasn't. Big fraud. That helps me out, actually, because when I get to 06 and 05, I won't say him.
If the Brazilian Grand Prix was the last race those years.
When we're up to 07, Raikkonen won the race.
Correct.
And the championship. 06, Alonso did get it over the line. Who won the race? Massa won the race for Ferrari.
Correct.
05, Alonso won his championship here. But again, you just told me he didn't win the race. So, it wasn't Fisichella. David Coulthard wasn't driving a McLaren, was he, in 05? I don't think it was Raikkonen. Easily could be, though. This is going to do me, yeah? I'm done, I think. But if it wasn't a Renault, who even drove the other McLaren that year? Was it Montoya? That's not my guess. I will say Raikkonen won the race.
Oh, Jamie!
Is that right?
When I was getting the answers for this quiz, I'd always forgot this. 2005, the last race wasn't Brazil.
Was it not?
No, it was China.
Oh, I would never have guessed that. So it was Alonso, probably, then.
It was Fernando Alonso.
Right. Alonso won his championship at both of them at Interlagos, didn't he? But
yeah, despite never winning the Brazilian Grand Prix, he won both titles there.
But he won 05 before the last race.
Exactly, yeah, because the 2005 Chinese Grand Prix is famous. I'm pretty certain if I just double-check this. Well, no, it's clearly obviously not that famous, but McLaren absolutely threw it away. They got unlucky with the drain cover, didn't they, in the constructors? Because they were going to beat Renault in the constructors that year in 05. But then, yeah, I think Montoya hit a drain cover, so it was forced. No, he had an engine failure. Raikkonen came through for P2, yeah, but I'm pretty certain.
Brazil was the third last race.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I'm led to believe 05 was close as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He won it with 2 races to go. 3 races.
He did. He had a 21-point lead over Raikkonen by the end of the year.
I was never going to get that. Obviously, I think if you hadn't told me that Alonso never won the Brazilian Grand Prix, I might have guessed Alonso for it.
You might have guessed Alonso. Yeah, I did kind of see that and immediately think I've accidentally screwed him over here.
Yeah, never mind.
But you know what? I'm taking it.
I wouldn't have gone much further anyway. I'd have just been guessing Schumacher for the next 5.
Schumacher didn't tend to win the final race of the year either, did he? I mean, let's just have a quick look. 2004. Yeah, immediately you would have been wrong. It was Montoya.
Great. Yeah.
2003.
Don't tell me it's David Coulthard.
Which was Barrichello, so you would have been wrong there.
Yep, great.
2002 was Japan, which was Schumacher. Let's just go back to the year 2000, because why not? 2001 Japan was Schumacher again, and 2000 actually
Malaysia.
was Sepang. Yeah, it was.
That's weird.
Which was, again, Michael Schumacher. So
David Coulthard never won the last race of the season, so I was at no risk of getting it wrong on DC.
I don't believe he did, no.
He didn't. I've learned to look.
Did he not win? No, 1995 or anything? No, because that was...
You got a DNF.
I don't think he ever won the last race of the World Championship.
There we go. Well, I had fun with that. I hope everyone else did.
18 correct answers, though, Jamie. You did a very good job there. But now, it is time for the big one.
Oh, yeah.
What are the scores on the doors in our predictions? How are things
With
looking?
one race to go, you are on 79 points, which I actually think is really bad. We've done a terrible job this year.
We always do a terrible job. It's not that easy to score big points.
No, but that's less than 2 points per race. No, it's not. It's less than 4 points per race.
Which I actually don't think is that bad going.
It's between 3 and 4 points a race. So you're averaging like 3.8 or something.
Which is better than you have been.
Well, it's like, yes. But last year, I think I got about like 5 points per race average or something like that. It was mental.
No, we definitely don't do that good on this.
Well, you just put pole max win last year and you were right. You got 4 off the bat.
Yeah, but you weren't towards the end of the year. That's the thing.
Well, the wins still were.
I genuinely don't think either of us have ever broke 100 points. Well, whilst we've been doing this. You can go back through whenever you like, sir.
You are on 79 points. I am on 74 points. So it's curtains.
You need a bit of a miracle.
I really don't think. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay.
And I'm going to go different.
I was going to say, because I was tempted to egg it.
No, I'm not letting you do it. So you can have the obvious, and I'm going to have to be different.
You're going to have to hope for a miracle. Oh, man, right. I'm going to say pole position in Abu Dhabi. I'm going to say... I mean, I could say Lewis Hamilton, but that is beyond stupid.
I know I'm going to write down, before you go, what I would say if I was going first.
Okay, I'm going to say Lando Norris P1. I'm going to say...
Who's on pole? You didn't say who's on pole.
Yeah, no, Lando Norris, pole position.
Okay.
Was what I meant, sorry. I'm going to say Lando Norris P1. I'm going to say Max Verstappen P2. Charles Leclerc P3.
Okay. I've written down what I would have said.
What were you going to say?
If I was going first, I'd have said Norris pole, Norris win, Leclerc second, Piastri third.
Okay.
So, you obviously went Norris pole, Norris win, so I can't do that.
Yep. You can, but it just won't help you out much. I love how genuinely frustrated Jamie finds this on the... I mean, you won, the first 2 of these we did, but I'm about to win the last 2.
You're about to win the most recent 2, so I'm finished, basically. I'm modern day Lewis Hamilton. Pole position.
Go on, say Lewis. Say Joe, actually.
It's so dumb. I'm going to go Verstappen. It won't happen, but you got it in Qatar. Why not?
He didn't get it in Qatar.
Verstappen pole. Well, he should have done. Verstappen pole. Verstappen win. Just throw it back to the start of the season.
Remember, Jamie, you basically can't pick any of the drivers I've put on the podium.
No, I know.
Otherwise, obviously, I'll get a
5.
point as well. Exactly. I believe you can put one of the same drivers on the podium.
Okay, Verstappen pole, Verstappen win. Piastri second, Sainz third. There we go.
I mean, you could have tried to make it close by the end of the year.
I'm going to get 0 points and you're going to get 8.
To be fair, if you said the same 3 as me and got them bang on, but obviously with Verstappen pole, and I got obviously all 3 of them in the wrong order. But if I got more in the wrong order, it would be a tie by the end of the year.
You said Leclerc second, Verstappen third, did you?
No, I said Verstappen second, Leclerc third.
Okay.
You can't change your answers though. You're locked in.
No, I'm writing it down for our records. Don't you worry.
That's fine. For our records, the unknowing wheel archives.
Yes, exactly.
As well. Have we got anything else to add, Jamie?
I think we've smashed it.
We never did a race rating last week, I don't believe.
Oh, we didn't.
This was something I forgot to say. Yeah, we never rated the Qatar Grand Prix. Which, I mean, to be fair, it's still fresh in our minds. It is only Tuesday at the time of recording this.
Yes. It was good, actually. It was alright. It was funny.
Was it? I'm going to give it a 6.5. Just straight and simple.
Where are my ratings? I enjoyed it slightly more than Vegas because I didn't fall asleep. So I'll go for a 7.
It helps the fact it was at 3 in the or 4 in the afternoon.
It'd be slightly worrying if I fell asleep at
6 in the morning.
Yes.
And my girlfriend would manage it. She always has a nap in the middle of the day.
Yeah, 7 for me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there we go then. Thank you all as always. So much.
And the loser of the predictions, by the way, has to rep Lance Stroll.
Yep. Lance Stroll is going to be rep
Twitter
next
picture.
year for Jamie. Exactly. Yeah, how am I going to rep Lance Stroll on mine? Actually, I don't use Twitter anymore. I don't care. I can literally make it Stroll as a PFP, which I would do. thank you all, as always, so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Let us know who you think is going to finish P2 in the drivers' table. Who's going to win the constructors? I'm sure we'll throw up some polls as the week goes on.
What, Robert Kubica is getting thrown around, is he?
He is.
Oh, wow.
Jamie, the next time I speak to you, I will probably be on the other side of the planet, which is quite a scary concept. So we do apologise in advance.
You'll have to flip your camera around in the editing.
Exactly. We're not quite sure how it's going to work doing the last few shows of the year. Luckily, we haven't got a title decided or anything like that, unless there's some huge Ferrari McLaren controversy. But thank you to everybody, as always, so much for listening, and we'll be back very soon with more Knowing Wheel.